What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the show. It is officially the weekend, 5 o'clock somewhere, almost 5 o'clock here. Sorry, almost 5 o'clock on the East Coast, almost close to plus 3 hours, 5 o'clock somewhere. I should say that. Hope you're all doing well. What is going on with PulseChain though? Why isn't the numbers go up so much as they have been primed to do for a long time? Did so many streams. PulseChain primed to pump. It really felt like the numbers. I don't know. Felt like the numbers were there. They were there in so many different ways. We had the huge well buys. We had all this stuff going on, and now we're 1 year old, and it's like, we still got to delay it. We got to delay the gratification thing. We just got to keep doing that, or get out. One of those. That is a couple of options for people. Or I guess you could be like halfway in. You could be like, yeah. I don't want to be a RHMaxy for the network side. Maybe I'll go play in other lands and stuff too. I guess you could do that too. But anyways, got a lot of stuff to get through with Mr. Neil for T-Shares. I'm going to bring him in and get to chat in just a minute. How's it going, sir? Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Max. Thanks for having me again.
You're back. PulseChain is 1 year old. It has hit some, I want to say it's hit some milestones. Has it? Yeah, let's start there. What are some interesting things that we know now that when it launched, we were like, oh, we had a totally different thing on that. I guess talk about P copies, you could talk about a lot of different things, but what has changed, Neil? Where are we at in PulseChain?
I think we matured as a chain in a sense of development terms as far as products and protocols coming onto the market. I think there's been a lot of positivity. A lot of things have finally been released. Some things still waiting to be released due to technical reasons. And I think we're providing enough suites of different products out there to make us competitive in the blockchain ecosystem. We have all the major forks from Ethereum are on PulseChain now. So, really, we have anything anybody wants to do in DeFi just about, and to participate on PulseChain. So I think that's where we're really set ourselves apart in that. Now it's just a matter of getting adoption and getting people to come over to realize that there are gains to be made, and we can, as a chain, thrive with the faster and cheaper fees.
You say gains to be made, but I think a lot of people too and we're going to get into yield versus price appreciation and stuff. I think it's be an interesting conversation with the K for K tweet that I want to riff on a bit too. But a lot of people that are looking at this ecosystem, we can't measure from all-time lows. We got to measure from I don't know. I still measure from all-time lows. I still think there's plenty of trades to be made. And again, if you believe in the ecosystem and you weren't completely broke, some people were completely broke. I'm sure they were. But there was some gains to be made in the meantime. But what else besides price appreciation, besides trading, have there been opportunities, in the last year for PulseChain? What have you seen out there that's just been like either yield? We had like different yield farms launching and stuff too. Other than price appreciation, what have been some of the things you've been looking at? LP, what do you want to look at there?
Well, yeah, so for PulseChain, and since we are still kind of isolated in the sense of monetary value, we don't have a lot of money just flowing in at all places because we're not on any major exchange like Coinbase or anything like that. So you don't have people just coming and flooding in from the centralized exchanges. So therefore, we're kind of an island to ourselves in DeFi, so to speak. So it takes effort to get over here. And in that, then we have what we have. And the OA and the RH and the rest of the guys associated with the big numbers, big money people brought money in and done some stuff with it, and some people taking money out. And if you're on PulseChain now and you are saying, well, where's my opportunities? What do I do? How do I turn my investment into more value? Then you must use the tools on the blockchain. And so what DeFi tools exist, and ask yourself those questions. And what do you want to do? What assets you want to hold? And what kind of yield you want to make? If you're going to chase price appreciation, then you must look for things that are at least have a good community and good tech behind them to, or a big whale behind them, like for Solid X, for instance, to purchase. If you want tech, GiveTech's got some new stuff that just came out. That's pretty neat for a token. And then you have the bond liquidity theory with a lot of these different tokens and groups like the Tetra system and and the index with solid X and stuff that have bonded or paired liquidity, I should say, that tend to move together. Then you got standard DeFi tools like LP farming, earn yield, earning those fees, which sometimes takes active management. You got farms like like ink farms and stuff. So there's opportunities to make yield and make profits other than just trading, but you can trade as well if that's your desire and find good positions. And so that's where we're at in PulseChain. And there's no really if you're patient, things will come. I know we're all tired of waiting. Believe me, it's 1 year in. We're still not having we haven't hit a 2x yet. Maybe we have, I don't remember, but we hadn't hit anything. We sure hit a 5x, much less a 100x on PulseChain. So we're all kind of wondering, well, why not us? Why did every other L1 that launched before us did an average of a 55x? Why hasn't PulseChain had its turn yet? It's just not our time yet.
Why haven't we hit 1 million wallets? I was like, man, for sure. I was doing projections for this back in April and stuff too. And I was like, I think by the end of the month, we should hit 1 million based on the trend. Looks like, if you look back at the trend line now, it's like, it's kind of, it tapered up, it went down a little bit instead of staying up where it was around 15, 16K. We just hit the birthday. I was looking forward to 1 million wallets. It's such a, I don't know. It's really just a superficial number, but it would have been cool. But I think one interesting thing about this is we're waiting so long for the blue chips to rise, especially Pulse, where Pulse everything's denominated in Pulse on PulseChain when you're trading. Mm-hmm. Isn't that really cool for the things that are denominated in Pulse if they can keep up with it? We've seen projects go up and down, while Pulse stayed stable or even went down too. But just if you're a project on PulseChain, and whether that's HEX or PulseX or it's any other community project too, being denominated in Pulse and being able to keep up with it and taking advantage of its rise if and when that ever happens, isn't that the kind of silver lining that everyone's looking forward to too? Not just the price appreciation for the Pulse bag, but anything else they bought too could, if it's able to keep up, could go up as well.
It should. I mean, things that have the right communities. I mean, even the worst dumbest meme coin out there that has hardly anybody using it is bonded to Pulse. It will go up and be worth more just because of that effect. So things that have really good community and really good tools and really good tokenomics behind them should go up, maybe even surpass Pulse in its potential gains as people want to realize and stack and compound their gains they're getting. So I mean, I see there's an opportunity there based upon whatever product or project you're in to amplify your gains by whatever percent based upon the price of Pulse appreciation. So it just depends on where you are. It's kind of like, think about HEX. How much will HEX appreciate if Pulse pumps based upon the bonding, right? And then what will that do to the T-share rate? What will that do to the ICOSA price and the Hedron price? And with the iBurn that was launched with the gift tech, what does that do then in response? How does that affect all the entire dynamic between those associations? And it'd be really interesting to see exactly how that plays out, because what are the people who hold big bags going to do? Are they going to sell when it jumps up? I mean, people it's been over a year live and several years now since we've had the PulseChain, as an idea. So some people were ready to take profits. What will that do? Is the 52-week shakeout really a thing, or was it just a hyperbole? I don't know.
It seems painful, I'll say, for the general person. I think it did kind of wake people up to, this is not a buy and instantly get rich type of thing. I mean, that kind of sucks for people. I just thinking of the general, the people came into Sacrifice thinking that, hey, I'm going to buy this, and when it comes out, it's going to go up a lot and I'll be able to make a lot of money. So I'm going to invest my time and energy into promoting it. And then afterwards, we're still here a year afterwards and it's still below, at least what the sacrifice rate is, what a lot of people put money into. And that's painful. That isn't, I think I talked about this before, having a mission and being into it for, and of course there's other ways to look for yield and LP and do other things other than price appreciation. But just in general, when you're into the core coins and you're in an ecosystem that hasn't ran yet and stuff, but you have had, again, the expectations that probably shouldn't have came with it, but were heavily heavily promoted as. I mean, everyone in the community thought, hey, we're going to do really well, really fast, that kind of thing. Nobody predicted this, right? Like, I didn't, maybe somebody did, but like, I don't think that was definitely not a consensus that we'd be sitting here still down after a year type of thing. But I mean, I do sympathize for people out there who are just like, I'm tired of waiting. I see other stuff go up, or they just, degenerate into something else, or they just, they're just not able to find what they need, what they think they came here for, one way or another. So that sucks, and I hate to see people leave and be disgruntled or otherwise, because there's so much to be positive about in this ecosystem and what it stands for, even more than like the kind of even though we have to wait for a lot of these things to happen. I don't know. I think there's still a lot of people who believe that glory is on the horizon for sure.
No, yeah, there's no way. I mean, Richard's own past and how his ego is, and his own demeanor. I think he truly wants to help the people who participate in his stuff. He wants to help the Hexicans. He wants to help the PulseCans and the PulseX guys, and and promote his own stuff, and he will. I mean, he's out there, with his alt accounts, talking about his stuff, like incentive token and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's coming. I think when it does come, it will be glorious, and he's said so. And gives no reason to say that he won't. He's obviously hasn't banned anything. He's fighting the SEC and doing all these things on our behalf. He warns us about them. So, but the worlds are changing around us. We got to realize that the laws are changing. Things are changing. There's a lot of people who, I mean, in EU, they don't want self-custody and stuff like that. It's terrible. And it's hard for us because it takes time to develop all this technologies. It doesn't happen overnight to be nimble enough to respond to regulation. And how do you try to keep from being, oppressed by regulation in different groups around the world? Because it's not even one country, it's worldwide. We're fighting. So it's a many faceted front. We have to always keep, head in a swivel to make sure that we're always one step ahead, so that we can, enjoy, the freedom and prosperity that blockchain has to offer.
Yeah. I mean, our principles are one thing, and fighting the good fight, and privacy is normal. Thankfully, we have plenty of billionaires on our side and otherwise smart people who are going to go out there and fight for, your right to, become self-made, your right to privacy, your right to mad gains, your right to participate in things, freedom of association. Like, again, the sacrifice values are ringing in my head right now as far as that go. So. Mm-hmm. Great segue though to the macros, because I want to cover that. I think some really interesting stuff is happening with. A lot of people got their eyes on Ethereum because if you believe PulseChain is leverage on Ethereum, then you would want Ethereum price to go up in order for PulseChain to a couple things there. Obviously, the whole if you believe that the whales who hold a lot of Ethereum would be into making price go up on PulseChain or otherwise after they see some Ethereum moves or after price appreciation. Otherwise, that would be one thing. And just in general, the whole concept of being a leverage, again, we should hopefully, who knows, but I mean, the idea would be able to get multiples on PulseChain from Ethereum success in very, many different ways. Not financial advice, obviously, just talking about the consensus here. And then this interesting tweet from Storyteller Martin here. BlackRock has success rate 99.9% ETF approvals. A lot of people are looking at May, the one from Banek in May. And then you hear a lot of people saying, no, probably not going to get approved or otherwise. But the one from BlackRock and Fidelity, August 3rd. I mean, even got one in on July 5th here from Invesco Galaxy. Do you think in August it's really going to start heating up for Ethereum and the ETF? And do you think we're going to get one in August, one way or another, either Fidelity, BlackRock, those two big ones?
Well, since they own a lot of politicians, I would assume so. You know what I mean? I mean, it's all about whose palms agrees in the real world, right? And this is
you had me at 99.9% as well,
right? Well, that too, right? But yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, these guys, they're the ones pulling the strings for the larger players. And so there's no way they're going to leave money on the table. They're all too greedy. And hopefully we'll take advantage of that, and as we associate with Ethereum via PulseChain's, leverage it with it. So I mean, I'm hoping we'll see something happen. And we've all predicted this year be the beginning of a bull run, and we've seen some pullback with Bitcoin and stuff, and that's okay. And maybe that's because the ETF's new thing. It's like, all right, well, it's not the same as the past because now we have ETF. Okay, so how does it affect the markets, the overall thing? What's the grayscale trust look like? Are they up or down? Where are they at in this situation? How many people are owning Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin as private? But all these investment firms are buying it, so you would think they would hold on to it. But how much are those guys holding? How much are they trading? I mean, who knows? I mean, without going and doing some deep dives in these portfolios, it's kind of hard to see because like you can at least stake Ethereum and earn yield somewhere. You can't really stake Bitcoin anywhere unless it's like a farm or something. So it's just kind of complicated, for these bigger firms.
If we start getting signals too, is that the ideal scenario for crypto? Is we start getting signals going up to August that, hey, or first we get the denial or whatever coming up in a week or so, and then after that it's kind of like, okay, well, Fidelity and BlackRock are coming up, so, and we start hearing rumblings of oh, maybe they're considering it. Okay, and then is it one of those buy the rumor, sell the news, or buy the rumor, buy the news? Which I don't know. I guess compare that to Bitcoin ETF too. Everyone's like, oh, it's going to dump so hard. I'm like, I don't know. It kind of got bought up to it. It dumped a little bit, then it came back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, but there's money to be made. The big money is going to make money, right? And they're going to do what they can to make the money all they can within whatever the systems allow. And so these opportunities with these ETFs are too lucrative. I don't think they're just going to have it and then just dump the price. It's kind of counterproductive to the whole concept, unless you just want to increase their positions, which they obviously could dump and then try to flush out the retail to buy cheaper and push the price back up, entice the retail to come back in and just rinse them again. But we've seen that narrative happen over and over again, with these larger movers and shakers in the system. So I think the people who've been in crypto long enough know some of the games. So I think we're wise enough to watch. We were looking at these trends, we were watching this news, and people like you and others who are talking about what happens with these larger macro moves, that we kind of can kind of see the writing on the wall. We know how to position ourselves. It's just the poor plebs who are chasing meme coins on like Solana and stuff. They're the ones who are getting wrecked.
Yeah, that was, I don't know if you saw at the PulseChain conference, Maddie was talking to Dipcatcher, and they were talking about gophers and the difference between the holders on PulseChain and Ethereum, and they launched in Solana. And the funny thing was, it was they talked about the people in Solana, something like they, a lot of their activity was just to like dump it or like buy it and like just hold on to it for like a day or so or a few hours or something like that. A lot of them see if its price going to go anywhere and then get rid of it, that kind of thing. Like the mentality of a lot of people on the chain over there, again, with a lot of meme coin stuff going on. If that's the common group of people you're attracting, is, and not all meme coin people are just like pumping up and not intelligent, all that stuff too. But if the majority of people are new and they love meme coins, they're not going to be sophisticated enough to like understand like how to actually, make good trades or use LP, or definitely not delete gratification, or just be able to pull off some of this stuff. So that was funny remark that I learned about Solana, at least a sector of those interested in gophers, at least.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw that. I mean, there was a video I saw on X here that some guy with like no hands, rugging a project after like a few seconds or a few minutes being on. It's like, he made just a few tokens, but it's still kind of funny. He's like, come on, man. He just dumped everybody's heads live on stream. Like, and that's the kind of person who wants to participate in a chain with that type of activity. Yes, I know people do a PulseChain too, but it's just like, come on. I mean, why would you show your face and televise that? And B, just if you're going to rug somebody, just do it like the old fashioned way in a dark room. It's just, I don't know. It's so brazen. Some of the attitude people have with crypto, and I'm just glad we're over here. I'm glad that we have a lot of people with integrity building and doing things over here in PulseChain, trying to make something better, providing quality tools and services and products that will have legs and stand up to the test of time, be used for multiple cycles. And that's what I want to see, and that's what I like to participate in and be involved in, because those meme coins are a dime a dozen, and if you don't have a good community and nothing backing with some kind of tokenomics, then it's just a narrative and just a community that makes it go up. And so whoever's got the loudest voice, most, the most, advertisement or silliest cartoon or whatever the image is, maybe you get some legs on it, just, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm, if anyone wants to show before, I'm generally uninterested in meme coins, NFTs, and a lot of stuff like that. And when I see what Hexy Bastard has been building at 9inch, I'm just like, man, and his vision over there to onboard people to PulseChain and really make it a really solid platform and do a lot of the things that that the ecosystem either hasn't seen before, or doesn't have enough of, or they just launched fee-free liquidity and stuff. I'm like, wow, I really like people building and doing obvious things for value. Getting just making stuff like that. Even not even I'm not even interested in a lot of the tokens that are traded there, but I can see the value that people are building on PulseChain, and I think that's really cool. I think that perspective and like being able to be like, okay, it's not even that disagreeing. It's just kind of like not being interested, but also like supporting or being welcoming or being like just not combative, I guess, is something I like to see more in PulseChain instead of like PvP versus projects and builders. It's more of like, hey, like if you're building cool stuff, like, yeah, I mean, you don't have to go around promoting it or anything else, but like, man, I hope people don't start taking away from people who are building. At least be neutral, that sort of thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, we're Tetra, we're protocol agnostic. We don't care what people are building. We want to have tools to automate everybody's stuff. So if Hexy wants to build, 20, 30 different things on 9inch, more power to him. Give him kudos, just as long as he builds it right and it works. I mean, people have the option and choice. That's what you want. The choices to go and where can your money be treated best, right? And so if he builds some things that people want to use, great. I mean, I appreciate what he did on that live stream he did with that sniper token he just playing around with, showing people how sniper bots work. I was there. I participated in that in the very beginning just to play around with it and just to see, what happened if you had, dollars with liquidity and 1 trillion tokens or whatever it was. And people bought it up, and some people got in and they played the game and they were happy to play. They knew it was a joke. They knew it was a game. They knew snipers would get involved. And it was a good educational experience for people to see that this is all, speculative instruments, it's just and that's what it is. And so people were gambling on this speculation, and some people made a few nickels on it. I provided LP and I did okay, just messing around, just a few dollars just to play with it. So, but it was good. It was a good educational experience. And so, I mean, I'll give him kudos. He's actually using the money he raised for Sacrifice to, build out on PulseChain, not just to, put out fires.
Yeah, shout out to Hexy B for shout out to all the builders out there on PulseChain that are locking up value, building protocols people want to use, new tech. We'll get to Gift Tech in a bit as well, but just want to continue with Chris real quick too. I saw this tweet this morning that was really interesting from Buck. Not sure why, but this pump, the weakish CPI and strong ETF flows makes me think upward momentum is back again after a healthy period of consolidation. I'm betting 2024 finishes strong. Liquidity is coming back to the market. Just enough economic cracks means monetary policy is likely to loosen or at least not tighten. At some point, I will announce that the easy money has been made in the broader crypto and I'll rotate out. I expect BTC to play just the tip with 100K by end of year. Ethereum probably doubles. Those are both ranges where I'll be taking major profits. I wonder who else will too. Oh man, I saw this morning. I was like, again, I don't like to be riled up in the bullish momentum. I mean, naturally I do, but at the same time, I'm like, be measured. Don't take it too seriously. And is that just like the ideal scenario for us right now that, 2024 finishes strong?
I mean, it's election year too, so that plays a big part in all this. And let's say Trump gets elected. I don't give a crap what anybody thinks about him. I mean, but there will be a change of mindset in the economy. It's just the way it is. No matter who the new president's going to be, there's a change of mindset. And so if he's does something similar to like in the past when he was president before, then we had decent economic policy. Therefore, you look for things to kind of go up in value, right? Because I mean, when he was first president, I think the first time Bitcoin was what 3,000, if I'm not mistaken. When his around about
2016. That sounds. Did it?
It was $3,000 when he was office.
The inauguration was 2017. That was the crash, right? That was the year of the crash, and then we went down probably around 3K somewhere through there.
Yeah. So then it went during the time he exited, it shot up. So you get this time frame. So, and I'm assuming his policies and overall world markets and stuff, appreciate the price and things were good. And we had, booms and, we enjoyed all that price appreciation and crypto was going crazy. So, I mean, I would say that, Buck's, pretty shrewd guy. He's in business a long time. He's got the TradFi, training and knowledge base here. And I think his analysis is, warranted to consider if you're looking to make moves. Nobody can predict the future, but his best guess is probably better than my best guess because he's got more training, as far as looking at the markets. And he's looking at different things too because he's got that, banker's mind.
Oh, sorry. So 2018. So 2016. It is funny where the election happened, and then I think Bitcoin topped around end of 2017, and then the crash, early 2018, I think. And then by the time, almost at the end of the term, before leaving office 2021, that's when we had, everything bubbled up again. We had all the money printing and stuff. And then of course, 2021, everything went like crazy too before it crashed again. But it's funny, like he was in office during the period of time of two up momentums, pretty much, like at least the start of them. So
yeah. So I mean, there's something to be said with politics and stuff, how it affects the markets, obviously. So it just doesn't take a genius to see those correlations. And whatever happens this next office, whoever wins this next election, I think if he doesn't win, I think we'll have a hard time with the economic policy is and with the Fed because there's a lot of other things, the housing markets, and then you got the oil pricing, and you got jobs or lack thereof, and the inflation running rampant. Yeah, it's just we'll see what happens.
Well, I think so. The idea would be a change in administration would be probably good for crypto because it doesn't mean SEC is going to stay the same, for example. But regardless, I feel like I don't feel like we can avoid, again, just pure speculation, avoid money printing at some point, regardless of administration, though. But definitely a change of administration could shake up some of the agencies, such as SEC and stuff too. At least that's what I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, that too. That happens. Just every administration change. So we'll just to see whatever the country decides to do, they'll do as far as the voters or cheaters or whatever, however you want to look at it. I don't know. It's a crazy world out there in politics, and it's all a clown show, in my opinion. But anyway, I'm just trying to live my life and raise my family.
I'm with you. It gets weird sometimes. Nicholas says it feels bottomy right now. Most of the focus is on non-RH coins. 50 weeks came and went as a non-event. Everyone is bored. Time for Pulse to rocket. Is there some not complacency, but I definitely feel almost seems like there's desperation, which kind of sucks too. Does that lead to somewhere, or does it lead up, or does it lead down? I don't know.
Well, I think complacency. And then you have disinterest, right? People may get frustrated. Maybe they not sell. They just say whatever. And maybe they come back and then things change. It's those of us who are engaged into the daily markets, look at the price charts, and doing TA and all these things. We're the ones really focusing. I think if you're already hurting and you're hurting even more now, if let's say you were sacrificed for stuff, PulseChain and PulseX and stuff, you're feeling the pain. You're like, man, I'm still this many years out and have nothing to make up for. Well, first of all, it's your fault. You can be using tools to making money right now. So there's really no reason you should not be making anything. You should be putting your money to work, not having idle capital, but just in increasing your positions, nothing else. Because now's the time to do so.
Does that kill before, again, when HEX was out, it's like, all you got to do is hold. All you got to do is stake. Wait for the price to go up. Do you think some of that carried into the PulseChain SAC and now where we are today, it's kind of like, man, it sucks that holders aren't getting rewarded, right? Holders, founders, exchanges. It's like, I want that to be, make that great again, for lack of a better phrase. Like it sucks to see people like hold an asset that, that you believe is a good asset. And, again, jury's still out. We still got time. We all believe it. A lot of us believe it's going to go up eventually, but in the meantime, if you think if the thought was I could just hold it and it'll go up, and you didn't really have a time horizon, maybe that's where it kind of gets like, that's where it gets people in trouble.
Oh yeah, well, we have the expectation of time and in value, and all right, well, things launch, we expect these values to go up in some way. Maybe we thought Richard was going to do a bunch of marketing. Who knows? I don't know what we all expected, but the SEC thing came in. There were global economic variables that nobody can foresee happen. We have wars, printing money, COVID, et cetera, et cetera. You have all the things, and so it's just I think if you're wise, you'll see this as an opportunity to basically stack up. Use your bags and increase their sizes through the tools that are on blockchain and DeFi, whatever you like. That's what you need to be doing right now, because what else is the option you have? Or you can sell a loss. There's your options. You can sit and hold and just hope for the price to go up. You can put your money to work, or you can sell a loss. What are you going to do? I mean, that's what it boils down to right there. So you can't make people, do the right thing. People are impatient. They're emotional. They're frustrated. Maybe they can't afford to be out. They have to take their money. Maybe they made bad decisions. Overleveraged. They may borrow the money against their house, and they can be foreclosed on. Whatever. I mean, listen, imagine horribles can go on and on. But the point is that there's really no reason you shouldn't be stacking up tokens right now, because eventually that money's going to come over, and Richard's going to make the chain good. He's already said he will do it. He told us kind of how he's going to do it in the past. And so he's got all that money ready to deploy. That's just a matter of timing.
Got a question here too from Ghost. Is it still worthwhile to stake HEX in a bull market? What do you think, Neil?
If because of PulseChain, I would say short-term stakes are probably pretty good. If you want to accumulate HEX, just do some short-term rolling stakes and your personal time horizon, so you don't get trapped in a stake when the price appreciates. I think we all learned that if you staked HEX, let's say you bought it 10, 15 cents a while back and you staked it, you're stuck for a while, right? You missed out on the 50 cents. Now you have to wait for the next time it goes up. Yeah, you have more HEX, but you need to be, when you exit, you got to be higher than you bought it, or close to higher. So I would say, just if I was going to go into HEX now at cheap rates, I'd just do short-term rolling stakes and just wait for price appreciation, because I think people regret being staked for so long through at least the initial. Let's say you were early HEX skin and you staked, all your stuff was for long-term stakes. Well, I was like, well, you missed out. Yeah, you'll get rewarded in 15 years or 12 years or whatever, but you're missing out now. So if you had some liquid capital, you can then earn some money and reinvest that in, let's say, PulseChain or PulseX or Inc. or whatever. Then you could diversify your portfolio to average out your gains and to take some profits now and then have future profits later.
I think that's the hard part too. Is you can lock up the most T-shirts when the price is the lowest. Mm-hmm. But then when the price is the highest, you don't get as much T-shares. So with the staking, it's almost like you have to make this choice, right? Like either your time horizon is much, much farther in the future if you're getting the T-shares cheap and staking them long term, or if you have the coins, if you're thinking, okay, this is the bull market, I'm going to lock some coins up for the bear market, you're kind of trading those T-shares, or again, just pushing out your time horizon. So I think either way, it comes back to, when do you want access to liquidity? Do you want access? I mean, then you could say, okay, well, you could do an HSI, and then maybe, but it's kind of like, okay, save yourself from yourself. That's the thing it takes away too, but also it gives you the option for liquidity, because you can recycle through ICOSA, assuming ICOSA is doing well at the time too, through the HSI market or through the auctions. So it's one of those hard decisions of it almost needs to be, just the way I think about it. When I think about staking, it is, especially the past year or so, I've talked about, I've never made so many stakes. I've never locked up so many cheap shares before ever, after seeing, the price being so depressed over time. But that was, I guess the decision there is, if you lock them up, again, the short rolling stakes, or if you're doing the bear market, locking them up until the end of the bull market or somewhere in that approximation, where whatever you think it is, you're kind of timing the market there, but you kind of got to play with that, if that's the route that anyone goes. And then otherwise, it's kind of like you're just pushing it out, right? You're just pushing, okay, well, in the future, I'm going to lock up the T-shares, and then in 5, 10, 15 years, whatever it is, I'm going to preserve this. I'm going to get all the T shares, and that's going to accumulate the yield. And I think the price is going to be XYZ in the future. That's the way I think about it, at least.
Yeah, but it's hard. Nobody can predict the future. So it's just a matter of personal decisions. A staking ladder is a good, better option for most people. Just do it on a monthly basis, then do it yearly basis, or or chunks of months, quarters, or whatever. If you want to accumulate these HEX pretty cheap right now, if that's your goal, right? Again, you're gambling every time because you know what HEX is going to be in 3 months, right? It's the same price you have paid for it, or but PulseChain is cheap enough to do these stakes on. It's not, you're not spending a whole lot of gas, so therefore it's easy to do these things, make staking ladders. I mean, and as we get rolling, if you have a diversified portfolio and using the tools on the blockchain and DeFi, you can be taking a portion of your yield to make staking ladders. It's not that complicated. I know it's manually aggravating, and eventually we'll have the automation tools out for Tetra to do this for you, but I just don't think people are thinking in a diversified way. I think everybody's just so emotionally affected by the price that they're not seeing the opportunities to present themselves on the blockchain as they sit right now.
What are you talking about, Neil? I haven't seen anyone be emotional or upset or otherwise for the past 2 years. Everyone's just been like, we're all just waiting together. We're all just singing songs. It's going
Kumbaya,
well.
right? We're all getting along and everything.
There's no fracturing. There's no
not so
capitulation. There's no infighting. There's no eating, community eating itself type of activity. I don't know. I think that's, I don't know. It's all those things you can say, okay, it's normal. Oh, but look what we've gone through. Oh, but it's all emotion. People don't mean it, or it's okay. Check out the weekend. All these different ways you can say it. I don't know. It happens. I don't even try to explain it. I'm just like, well, I just try to avoid it. I try to fade the noise as much as I can, because most of it's a distraction. Most of it is just not good information. I like to hear things sometimes just for information, and then I'll decide whether it's important to be or act on or otherwise. But there's just not a lot of value in just hearing the same old, just like not good. It's not even information. It's just like it's just venting, that kind of thing. I don't want to hear that all the time. I want good information. I don't want to hear just, these emotional otherwise. So anyways, I just want to bring this up too real quick. If you haven't read the Richard Hart SEC Motion to Dismiss, as I said here, it really is a work of art. You should really read it. It's super good. It's fun. It's not that boring. It's actually very interesting. And I went through and took some time to go through it. I even took some screenshots here. And just some of the stuff that's in it is just, it's either funny or just like some of the phrases here, like Mr. Hart was no more promising anything than a person promises that a log placed in a fire will burn. Just like some of the analogies they use is just super good. And again, super good legal team behind him too. And then this one, I want to bring up to you, Neil, real quick. This is the one that got me too. I was getting towards the end of the document, and it was talking about, bring it up here. It says, where's the piece? If you believe in. So it's basically talking about the sacrificing and the freedom of speech part, which everyone says, oh, it's like the weakest argument, all this stuff. If you really read it though, this struck me as, I want to ask this question. Does sacrificing prove you believe in free speech as a protected human right and blockchain free speech actually mean the community also inherently signed up to fight for free speech when they try and take it away? And I just felt that just came out so compelling to me. I'm like, man, that's, everyone's like, oh, tongue-in-cheek sacrifice, or, hey, it's legit, but everyone just had these expectations otherwise, which is on them. But if you really look at the essence of this whole thing, the bigger picture, it does feel like our community, again, signed up for this to take on protecting these rights. Like, do you ever feel that way when you think about, the PulseChain ecosystem and the case and all that?
Well, I think Richard made it very, very clear that there was no expectation of anything. I mean, he was explicit. And though I know we all in our minds knew that we would get these free worthless tokens when they were launched, right? That as a concept was zero value. And I don't understand that, but we all know though, and I think as time has progressed in the legal world with crypto and stuff, we've seen all these laws and things that if he can pull this off and make them say free speech and blockchain and the freedom to interact, all these things are fundamental human rights that we shouldn't be governed, shouldn't be manipulated, shouldn't be regulated in a way that would curtail those rights, then he kind of was playing 4D chess, because if they say no, it's not free speech, well, then why isn't it? It's up to them to prove why it's not free speech, right? So they have to make the onus on them to prove that, oh no, this is not. People are doing what they want with their own funds or their own magic internet money, whatever you want to call it, right? They have to prove that the people have the right. So now the burden's on them to prove it they don't through some core argument, and that'd be kind of hard, because this is just technology and it does what it does. Like HEX does what it does. PulseChain is decentralized. People are voluntarily interacting with PulseChain when they want. Nobody's making them do it. They're making choices. They're the one pushing the buttons. They're doing the work. They're the one seeing and finding value in this community, in this type of thing. So I mean, I give them kudos. I think they did a good job, and Richard's obviously a genius, intellect level, but I think this was a brilliant move. And I think he probably saw far enough ahead that, I mean, he had counsel too. So doing what he did in the very beginning was an orchestrated, pre-planned way to, when it ultimately happened, as is happening now, he was already ready to handle it.
Yeah, I think we are in such a good position with this that people don't, when something like this happens, you really don't know. I mean, we saw what the market did and stuff after the news, and just flooding their bags. They look at the government flooding their bags, and you don't really know what's going to happen after it. But man, I think that not only getting a sigh of relief in January when we saw the response and saw they had 11 lawyers and stuff representing and all that stuff, it just became this, well, wow, we got a chance. Not only do we have a chance here, not only is he not hiding and all this stuff, this is, again, the guy's doing everything he said he's going to do and not doing everything he said he's not going to do. So it's just like one of those.
Didn't spend the money of the sacrifice to do it on top of that, right? So he's like, I didn't even use it. It's still sitting in the wallet. So like, what do y'all have to say? So all that, all the Prada bags, all that stupid stuff he was buying, all the outrage marketing he did. I mean, he wasn't even using the money in the sacrifice to build it. He's already wealthy. He didn't need it. So yeah. I think it was a well thought out play that he says there's no way they could say I've done anything illegal or unethical in all my dealings with people who voluntarily acted and participated in these type of things.
If it is indeed 4D chess, I am excited for that checkmate. Whew. Gonna be a glorious day. Pun intended, glorious day. Neil, have you heard of the GIF token?
GIF, something. I see. It's a GIF. Is that the thing that just goes straight up? Because, right? It's like a straight up line almost.
Well, it did. It dumped like crazy yesterday. But yes, generally speaking, every day you'll be right, except yesterday. It went down a little bit. I talked about the mechanics and all that stuff before, but it's, I don't come across many tokens on PulseChain, many builders, many projects. And again, nothing against anyone else out there building what they're building, but I don't see a lot of things that have the protocol, the game mechanics and stuff that this one does. And it's not even this token is, you have the GIF token, doesn't really just the PRC20, you have the perma GIF token, which you can mint from it. And now you have another protocol that's been applied to. You have iBurn with Icosa. And not only the price performance, and again, if you got in down here, you've seen a lot of price performance. You got in up here, you've seen it up recently. May have the maddest of gains if you got in higher. But what strikes you? I got a couple of tweets I want to go through with it too. But this one from Coexistent Steven. If this can be a tool to help bring ERC, PRC20, PRC tokens to parity, then you have to know how extremely bullish this is. A lot of different things. If this is applied to tokens that are copied over, we kicking off the auctions again. Just lots of different positive things that can come from it. But what strikes you as interesting about this new sub ecosystem and like protocol? What token's next? Is ink next? We can start burning ink. What strikes you as interesting about this protocol?
I think the systematic design elements are really the key, right? So this concept that people are willing to give up some pulse or to mint the other token to do an arbitrage loop when the opportunity presents itself is where I think the secret sauce is in this. And with the eye burn, it's even more pulse you give up to do the same thing to cause the ICOSA to be pulled off the market. So I think these are these type of tools and mechanics are very important. And this is what the thing about crypto is one reason crypto goes up because it is bought by somebody or some entity or some smart contract, right? So it has to be purchased. And if you get enough people to participate and to do this and give them the opportunity to make money through arbitrage, then it can only do the thing it's designed to do. Now, if nobody, just like anything else, if nobody participates, it won't do anything, obviously. But as long as there's participation and there is a incentive to participate through arbitrage opportunities, I think this is the mechanic and the secret sauce that makes this particular design very effective. And how often and how many times it can be duplicated is unknown. In theory, it should work for most things that have product market fit and have enough people willing to participate, enough holders. I think because GIF and PGIF are finite supplies, they will always have better price appreciation than, say, IBURN, only because ICOSA is minted out of thin air through the staking mechanisms with the hedge fund contract, right? So it's a little different, but I think it's good. I think I really appreciate what the guys have did. I know I've talked to these guys behind the scenes just over the years, just talking shop with Kool-Aid and those guys just about design and thinking about how to come up with solutions for this. And this is one of the brilliant ways that they've come up with. I give them kudos. I've thought through some of the things myself in the past with different mechanics, different ways to skin this cat, so to speak. And then this is a natural, I think, way this should, as a solution, should come to bear, given how mechanics work and how design is implemented within the blockchain.
What do you think about too with K4K mentioned here reverse liquid staking? I know that's kind of like, have you thought about this concept too of just how to the difference? Again, the comment down here is to most gains in crypto are from price performance, not yield, which is an interesting statement as well. But price performance, yield, the reverse liquid staking thing. How do you? Is this a new paradigm that we're seeing with PulseChain? This kind of projects. Yeah, what do you think about that?
I'm not quite sure what K4K is really how he's defining reverse liquid staking. And when I think about liquid staking, I'm thinking that there is yield being made, and you receive the yield by holding the token. Now you receive price performance in the sense of you hold GIF, and that thing works. Your GIF goes up in value as the buy and burn happens, and it goes through and people aren't selling too much. Then obviously you price. As it started off, you receive that as price performance. But there's no yield to be yet. At least now, I don't know of any yield coming out of anywhere in GIF that I know of.
Is
unless you're LP.
Is it kind of like the yield maybe it's like a deflationary type of thing, and the yield is coming from the yield is it's almost like the yield is the price appreciation. Like the price appreciation, you're replacing yield with price appreciation from a deflationary type of asset.
Exactly. I think that's what he means. Yeah, it makes sense. And I think he's right, but you can't separate yield, price appreciation and yield, because you have hardly any yield if the prices appreciate. Because typically the price does appreciate, fewer people are involved, trading, moving tokens around. Therefore, the yield from whatever mechanism is usually less. As price goes up, people interact. Maybe they stake more, do things, interact with DeFi protocols. Then yield goes up. But you're always going to be behind price appreciation because it's a trailing factor. So if you see something has high price appreciation, then the yield, like look at the LP yield, right? If you look at the LP yield on like iBurn and some tokens or GIF and tokens, there is pretty good bit of volume and therefore pretty good bit of yield to be made by fighting LP. So, I'm sure you can pull up 9mm to see that. It's pretty well self-evident that's where it happens. But look at pairs with low volume, there's low yield. Why? Because low price appreciation. And that's just the nature. People chase green candles and they buy these things, price goes up, and they get happy to participate. But it's it's something that people must have to actively manage if you want to really enjoy those yields from these things. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I saw this just earlier today. I was sorting through the top volume pairs, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Number 2 is GIF and Wrap Pulse. This is the 24-hour. Number 4 is PGIF, and number 6 is iBurn. And then if I hit 7-day, I think GIF was number 1. If I hit 7-day, it was like 3 million volume over that, something like that. So token has you got the mechanics. People ask, what can I do with GIF? Should I mint it? Should I do whatever? If you have GIF, so the options are you can hold it, you can use it plus PLS to mint PGIF, which kicks off things in the protocol, buy and burns and fills that and all that stuff, and also burns a GIF. Or you can LP, and if it's a high volume pair, a lot of there's fees to be made versus other tokens that are new and stuff that don't quite have a volume. And it's not relatively, I would say, low liquidity at this point. It used to be low liquidity 2 or 3 weeks ago, I guess, but at this point, it's starting to ramp up.
Yeah, and he also arbitraged the P GIF traded back for GIF to get more GIF.
Yes,
which is the incentivized portion of the reason why they add the minting function. So that makes the most. That's why they did it. It's like, well, if you get P GIF and then get it with as long as like 11 or 12 pulse difference between P GIF and GIF, you get 10,
more than 10.
More than 10, so basically 11 or 12, which depends on your scale. Then you made money. You can get more GIF, and so that's why, and that's what I know they got bots doing it right now. And once we get our automation tools out with Tetra for everybody to use, then everybody can be a bot and swing trade it, and play this arbitrage game themselves. So I think you'll see even more buy and burn once we have these tools available to the public, especially the compound limit orders. I think everybody would want to do the swing trade and take these profits. So I think you'll see GIF be bought and burned even faster once more people have access. We're not trying to just time it with clicking a button.
Definitely going to get a Tetra update here in a second. I just wanted to bring up because I posted. Have you thought much about the arbitrage? Because I've been thinking about that recently, and I want to bring up this awesome thing from Telegram that was. Where is it? Come on. Here we go. So I've been trying to figure out the different or talk about. I wish there's more visuals on this. I'm sure they'll come in the community, make them or otherwise. But so there's when this is just basically the when 1 PGIF equals 1 GIF plus 10 PLS. That's just kind of like the
standard mint.
That's the standard mint. Yeah, standard mint. And we got when 1 PGIF greater than 1 GIF plus 10 PLS. Sell PGIF for PLS. So basically, if GIF is more than 10 PLS, just what you were talking about, sell PGIF for PLS, buy GIF, and then when 1 PGIF is less than a GIF, basically swap GIF into PGIF. So on that one, are you just speculating? Okay, because you know that 1 PGIF should always be worth more than 1 GIF because you know the economic energy that went into it. To mint it should make it more valuable. If the market's not valuing it as that at that time, the idea would be swap the GIF into PGIF and then wait for the market to correct and then sell at the profit. Is that the idea?
Yeah, because think about it. Every time somebody is making sales and stuff, there's your arbitrage opportunities when it comes up, right? When the price moves, because if more people are say selling one or the other, whichever one they're holding at the time, there's your price difference, right? So there's your plus the 10 pulse, right? So, okay, well, here's the price. And you can look on Dex Screener and you pull it up and you see what the pulse price is per each in pulse terms. When it gets more than 10, then you can act whichever side you're on, or less than 10, or it's equal, whatever you're trying to do in this type of scenario. So yeah, that's your arbitrage opportunity. And these things can easily, set up through like our compound limit orders and stuff. So people can take advantage of this and more so than just the people who can write scripts or set up bots on their own.
Looking at this chart too, and we saw the dump. If you had a position in GIF, you're pretty happy with it. You still have confidence in the protocol just after this dump recently.
Yeah, because there's still a buy and burn that still can be deployed by the teams. I understand how the mechanic is. The major where the tokens are held. That's not public call function, if I understand it. So they still can deploy that capital to buy it up if they want to. at the time they're choosing. So, and people want to take profits. Just don't get me wrong. If you bought it early and you bought, say, you got $200-300 worth of gift when it was like equal to a Pulse, you got a ton of gift. You know what I mean? I don't know who all the holders are, but if you have a lot, then you can make a lot of money. But there's only so much liquidity, so you really only exit out through V3 and not hurt the price if you're intelligent.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
obviously.
Like, that's the thing too. Is like I don't know why I don't know why we have market dumping. I'm starting like that concept of selling through liquidity, especially when you're not trading Pulse. If you're going to get Pulse or PulseX or something with millions and millions of dollars of liquidity, yeah, of course, like you're just going to use Pateus, you're going to do whatever, and a lot of people are going to do that. But if you're not trading a token that you're going to hit a lot of slippage and stuff going, trying to sell through that, and unless you just absolutely need the liquidity today, why not avoid the slippage, avoid the red candles, and make the fees over time? If you believe the price is going to go up, for example, believe it's going to go up, then the other side, you get a lot of pulse out of that, providing LP.
Well, you would think, but here's the thing, though. There's two sides to that. That is accurate if you don't need the money or whatever, you're not impulsive, but you have to have traders to cause a buy and burn. It's a function of the game. You have to have it. So this dump is really necessary to exacerbate the buy and burn, to have the arbitrage opportunities. So this is it's like you have to have both sides of this. It's the yin yang concept. You got to have it both. You got to have traders to trade. They create the price difference for then people to exit out through liquidity who don't want to take those losses, right? Through slippage. You need both. You can't have one without the other, because if everybody did V3, then it's just not going to do anything, right? Because nobody's selling to cause it. So you won't have buy and burns. You won't have the price appreciation. So only new people buying would cause the thing to go up. Then it'd be just like any other meme coin, right? Whatever. Just wouldn't happen. Nothing would happen. It'd be a static chart. So you need both. You need the dynamics. You need the movement. You need the volume. So everybody then can benefit from the mechanics and the tokenomics within the system.
Do you think the system is set up in a way that is kind of the healthy way in the ecosystem to properly incentivize people either not to sell or to sell, in quieter means, or basically, be good stewards towards the protocol, that kind of thing. Be good stewards in that, while having the balance of, like you mentioned, still needing trading to go on for the different mechanics to occur.
Well, I know the guy. Look, I know the guys and all the guys in the chat who are in GIF early. And most of these people know how to hold and how to exit V3. These aren't ignorant people who are within the community. They know what's up. But the people who are just selling are probably people who caught in at, say, at a penny or whatever, or 2 cents or 3 cents, and they're making a quick gain. They want their money and they get out. They have a trader mentality because they don't care about the system, the protocol. They don't respect it, whatever. Whatever the narrative is, it doesn't matter. They get their money and they're out. Okay, that's fine. And we want those people because we want the arbitrage to be there to, cause a buy and burn to happen. And at the moment, apparently, it looks like there's more sellers than there are people buying, or buy and burn mechanics buying. So it's okay. You need these corrections. You need these things. It's healthy for a chart. If it only went up, then I'd be a little suspect if it only went up. It's like there's nothing mathematically, it doesn't happen, and human psychology didn't allow it to happen either. So it's like, why aren't there some red candles? So, and in fact, the irony is, before this first sell-off happened, I was on the phone with one of our clients, and he's like, "Well, I'm waiting to buy a gift, but I don't see any red candles." I said, "Well, I can't tell you when they're going to happen, my man, because if you look at the chart, it gets bought up as quick as it dumps because nobody's dumping any big. The holders who hold large amounts aren't dumping their whole bags. I can't tell you what's going to happen." And it wouldn't 10, 15 minutes after I got the phone with them, the red candle happened. I texted him, said, "Here you go, buddy. You get your wish. Get your entry." So, I mean, I would have known because this is before any of the big dumps. So, but if you zoom out and you look at when we go back and zoom out again late in the future, this dip here will look like any of these other smaller dips that we saw in the past. And it's a scale. So I think it's just part of the natural order of things.
Yeah, I've been fascinated with it recently, and I do have a playlist. Anyone wants to check it out, tinyurl.com/learnpermeable. That'll take you to, I'll just put it in the chat too. See Kinetics and peeps in the chat. How's it going, gents? And So it says 40 videos, 8 hidden. So I think that's the scheduled ones start to come out. So yeah, if you are subscribed, you will see them in your feed, for example. But yeah, a lot of stuff just to learn the basics. I got stuff from other people's channels and gift check official channels stuff too. So a lot of stuff going on with it if you want to learn about it.
Yeah, I can't wait till we automate some of this stuff for these guys, and we have the tools ready for everybody to use, because I think they're really going to have a good time using GIF, PGIF, and then I think Randy and PulseX guys want to use the tech for their token. I'm not sure what their rollout is, who's going to get what when, but I think that'd be pretty good to see if the index got this type of tech. What would happen to the index with the PulseX whale behind that project with this tech? How that would do? That'd be a very interesting thing to see, and anything else bonded to PulseX as well.
Yeah, I'm also excited. I think everyone's that's gonna be the excitement for the next few weeks or months, I guess, is what's the new protocol? All right, we have ICO, so what's the new one? What's it gonna be on? Before we wrap up though, too, yeah, speaking of Tetra, what's the latest on Tetra? You want to give us an update?
So we are at the moment, we're about to launch the Omnis update. So Stu has been killing himself, he and the team. I mean, when I say he's cracking a whip, I mean, I don't think anybody's eating or sleeping. They're coding, trying to get this stuff out. There's just the last few UI tweaks and bugs, just the way all coding is. If you develop stuff, you'll know. It's hard. It just takes time. And since we're building everything from scratch, we have nothing to go by, like to reference. So it's all like get it out, test it, thoroughly test it. Oh, we found a little bug. Go back and fix it. Go out, do it again. And so that's where we're at. But it's imminent. It's just a few things. All the DEXs have already been integrated into Omnis on our private net, mainnet server, and they're all functioning. It's just some UI things we're trying to go through. So we'll have the compound limit orders and a few other things. They're just trying to get all this sorted. Doing the way we're doing is very complicated because of how we're aggregating the data through the chain. And it's so fast. It's so fast that they had to slow it down. I kid you not. That's how fast it was, because you couldn't input your data fast enough before the price was changing on the screen. You just couldn't do it. It was just too fast. I mean, it's just like bam, 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 bam. I was like, gee whiz. So he had to manually slow down the feed in order to give the human time to sit. Okay, this is my price. This is what I want to do, and then make the selection. So and approve make the approval. So yeah, it's lightning fast. So you'll have a faster order execution, cleaner order execution than anything else out there on the blockchain, and it's going to be a work of art when it's all said and done.
So when it's live, we'll see compound limit order on the screen. It'll change. The interface will change. You'll be able to select limit order or compound.
Yeah, you know that link you had I gave you for the private link. It'd be like that up top. You'll see the compound limit order, the liquidity thing. I think it's coming out with this update. I can't remember if it's coming out with this update or not. It'll be right behind it though. It's the UI thing they're adjusting, and we'll have dark mode for you people who like dark mode. So
there's a lot of them. I hear them in the chat sometimes. I'm sticking with my light mode. I like my light mode. Yeah, literally that is a context. I like white space because it's clean and easy to see things. And some people like to do crypto in the dark or something. I don't know, but that's to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I get it though, but it's coming, and then once the Omnis updates are finished and all that's out, then we'll and we get some community feedback and maybe some UI suggestions, buttons or whatever, some minor stuff. Then our next step will then be Stratus will be then going into private testing and functionality. We'll start having automations. So yeah,
I would like to automate my DeFi.
Oh yeah. So yeah, but we're kind of talking to a lot of these builders and stuff and groups. People come to us all the time about making things for them and help them with some of the tech. I mean, obviously, Tetra Labs and stuff, all the stuff we've been doing in the background, helping different groups, and we got a lot of things we're working with in tandem, different groups trying to get better quality products out the market. Just takes time, and then this stuff happens overnight. A lot of the stuff we're building is new, it's innovative, and it's a lot of work. I mean, a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we appreciate the builders out there and excited to automate all the things, especially with GIF and all the other protocol. Who knows? But I mean, by the time we get automation, who knows how many protocols we'll have, and all the stuff it could be applied to, and ink staking. We talked about that before, and all kinds of fun stuff. So Neil, where can people find out more about Tetra Labs and stuff?
You can reach out to me on Telegram. I work for crypto, and just you get in touch with me. I'm Tetra Labs. I'm me and Ben, Benjamin 369. Either one of us, we can handle anything Tetra related for actual, full stack development, APIs, technical advice, whatnot. We have a whole development team that Tetra has that we can build anything you need. So just hit us up. I'm always around. T.me/go Tetra is the main Tetra chat. And so you can find out all the official news from there. And then I have a YouTube channel that I'll be doing YouTube videos once we have the stuff out, talking about how to use the compound limit orders, how to use all the new interface, all that good stuff. And so all that'll be available here shortly. And then let's see what else. So as far as I think it's all my socials with Twitter and stuff like that. So I think I'm Neil for Crypto on Twitter. But
yeah, and I've tagged you in the scroll down the description of the video. I've tagged Neil in here as well. Are you not excited? Are you not entertained? PulseChain, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up this summer, and man, I'm excited. I think we got some cool stuff going on. A lot of stuff hasn't been released yet, as we talked about too. So good, Neil.
I'll say this: in the next probably 6 weeks, I think you're going to see a big change on how people use PulseChain for the things that are coming out from us and from other groups and True DeFi, other group. I mean, with P2X and everything, it's going to be a lot of new options here very shortly. And with GIF and PGIF and everything that they're doing, I mean, those guys, I think it's going to be really, really neat next couple of weeks.
6 more weeks. That's what I heard. I like it. All right. Thanks, Neil. Appreciate it as always. Great conversation. Loved it.
Yeah, man.
Loved it today.
Enjoy it. Thank you. Happy.
Anytime. All right, everyone. That's all we got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.
Take care.